Uh-oh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome to a new edition of the Sports Shop 27. I'm your host, Jermaine Coulter. And today's special guest, we got a Gamecock and a Drill Blue Devil. So
Yes, sir.
y'all put
Yes,
one
sir.
guest together. We got this guy. He went to Druid High School, actually, in 1995.
Correct.
Got picked up by the MLB. Was the Boston Red Sox. He played there for 4 seasons, then got traded to Chicago White Sox.
Yep.
Left there in 1999. Went to JUCO and played football. Then Lou Holtz came to the University of South Carolina, recruited him, and he went and played 2 seasons with the Gamecocks and went into the 2003 NFL draft. All right. This guy played linebacker for the Miami Dolphins, also played for the Bears, and he also played for the Carolina Panthers for a while.
No doubt. No doubt.
The Canadian League and played for Winnipeg as well. We'd like to thank our guest, Mr. Corey Jenkins. What's
Hey,
going
what's
on,
up,
Corey?
man? What's up, brother? How you doing, man? Thank you for having me on, man. It's my pleasure, brother. Thank you, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. For everybody that don't know you, Corey, let them know where you're from and a little bit about your background.
Oh man, I'm a hometown kid, man, right here from 48 off the town, Columbia, South Carolina. Born and raised, man. This has always been home, always will be home no matter where I go. Went to elementary, middle, high school, and college right here in town. So I'm a true hometown kid, brother.
I mean, that's great, man. So growing up in Columbia, who were some of the people that you looked up to? Who motivated you the most? Was it a family member? Was it a friend? Was it a celebrity?
Well, for its motivation, man, it was just my neighborhood in general. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I had a really strong mother. My dad was kind of in and out. You know what I mean? But my dad was a pretty good athlete. But everybody tell me I got my athletic ability from my mom. My mom was a great athlete. But I had an older brother who was pretty good in sports. I had a older cousin who was really good in sport. They both got drafted in baseball. And then just my area, man, my neighborhood. You know what I mean? It was an area where a lot of people were not supposed to be successful, not supposed to reach a certain age due to death or either prison. You know what I mean? And with the way my mom raised us, it was we're gonna use that negative and make it a positive. And so that was my motivational factor for trying to be successful in life and being successful father moving forward.
All right. How big was education for your parents? How big were they on education for you?
Oh man, my mom, no education, no sports, man. Period. That's just what it was. You don't do right in school, you can't do right on the field. So it's that's kind of and it's funny because that's one of my mottos now. If you can't do what's right inside, I ain't gonna let you do what's right outside. Period. You know what I mean? And that's something I preach to my kids because what sports come and go, man. And we can't play it forever. It's gonna come to an end at some point, even though we may not think so or want it to, it will. And when that comes to an end, we got to have some type of sense and educational standpoint to where we can move forward, and that's where that education plays a role.
Exactly. A lot of cats don't really understand that football is a vehicle in life that we use to better ourselves, become a little bit more disciplined, and help the
Right.
people. After life, after football, we have to evolve, and that's something that you've been able to do and transition into real very easily. Talk about were you always wired that way, or that just happened?
Well, I mean, pretty much so, man. I think I was. When football was over, it's something hard to get away from. Just being an athlete in general and getting into, going into personal training. My family's so crazy, man. They back here acting crazy. But
Make
um,
your face trying to make you laugh.
yeah, man, you know how it is when you're at home, man. Anyway, like I said, going into when I was done, going into the personal training standpoint of it, you know what I mean, trying to stay close to some type of athletic deal. When I first got done playing, I came back when I got home. I wound up coaching Pop Warner football actually with Stephen Davis out in Irmo in the Dutchport area, and it kind of made me think like, you know what, I kind of want to coach. You know what I mean? Because it kept me coached. It kept me close to the game. It kept me close to kids because I love kids, and at the time I didn't have any. So I was around kids, being able to coach kids, seeing, just making a difference in all their lives, and then, as things started moving forward, then, the coaching aspect became a pretty big interest of mine. And so that's when I moved forward to coaching, and coaching helps me stay close to the game. If I wasn't coaching, man, I think I'd lose my mind.
All right. So let me back up a little bit. What was the first sport that you ever played? And name all the sports that you played coming up throughout your
Oh,
youth.
I was just a baseball, football, basketball guy, man. The first sport that I ever played was baseball. Actually, I was 5 years old, and my dad wouldn't let me play t-ball, and my brother was actually playing pee wee ball. And my dad was like, "Nope, he gonna play pee wee ball with them." So me being 5 years old, I played with the 6 and 7 year olds and 8 year olds. Um, and my dad was like, "Don't be afraid, put him in. Let him go play." So I played with older kids. So it was baseball, and then it went into football, then it went into basketball. So from about the age of 5, man, I always been playing some type of ball year round.
So Pop start you off with the jump start early. He went
Oh
ahead.
yeah, man, definitely, man. It's was fun. It was something for us to do. For one, it kept us out of trouble. We actually went to the Boys and Girls Club right by Memorial Stadium, and I'm actually in the Boys and Girls Club Hall of Fame over there. So that was a big deal for me. You know what I mean? And that kept us out of trouble a lot, man. Because we went there after school, we went there during the summer, and there all we did was play sports. We didn't care what the season was. It could be, January and it's mid basketball season. We're gonna get a ball and go outside and play football in the cold, Or so it was just us kids being kids, man. It wasn't no even though we had like Nintendo and Sega Genesis, that was regulated. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no staying in no house playing no video games. You better get outside and go play, boy.
Yeah.
And so I think that helped me a lot for us athletically being able to be successful.
Which one was your favorite growing up?
The season, depending on the season. I got to give you the answer I give everybody, man, because it's really hard to pick one because I just love competing. You know what I mean? I love being a competitor. I love competing against people. Everything's almost a competition to me. And, so if it's baseball season, then baseball is my favorite. If it's football season, then football is my favorite. And basketball season, then guess what? Basketball is my favorite. When I was a kid, it was like, let's just go play. I don't care what we're going to play, but let's go play one of the three.
All right. So we appreciate Patrick Williams tuning in. He said this is real dope podcast and interview 100. Shout out to Patrick Williams. Thanks for the subscription.
That's
Also, let me ask you this
that's
question.
that's my first cousin right there.
Okay, that's what's up. So who's your favorite baseball team? You've been, you say whatever season
Oh
was on.
man,
But
I was
did you follow?
I was Atlanta Braves all day, brother. Atlanta Braves, man. And it's crazy, but I was a big Dale Murphy fan, man.
Wow.
Yeah, because normally, and it was funny how it happened. Sometimes around Father's Day, my dad's dad, my grandfather would always put us on a Greyhound, and we went to a Braves game. You know what I mean? And that was huge for me, man. Like being in that stadium and just seeing those guys run around. Now, take it, we were in the upper deck. You know what I'm saying? But just being there as a kid, that blew my mind. You know what I mean? I was like, you know what? I'm gonna play pro ball one day.
That's what's up, man. You already had your mind made up. So
Oh
you
yeah.
followed Braves in baseball. And
Mhm.
NFL, who did you follow? Who was your team?
Man, I was actually like, and it's funny, but I was actually like a rival deal. Like I love the Steelers and I love the Redskins.
Okay.
And that was kind of a big rival back in the day. You know what I mean? But I love the Steelers one because of their black and gold colors. I was
Okay.
a big fan of that. You know what I mean? And then I was just a big fan of football. I was never really like a team guy. Like I like this team, I like that team. I just like let's just watch somebody play.
Okay.
And whoever played, I was just, I'd say, all right, I'm gonna take this team or that team, and it wasn't the team with the best record. You know what I mean? I wasn't one of them fair weather guys like, oh, they 8-2 versus a 3-16. Let me take the 8-2 team. I took a team that I might have liked, and I said, okay, I'll take them.
Cool. So college, who did you follow growing up?
Uh, Actually, and this is kind of strange, but I was a Georgetown Warrior, man. Love them,
Love
brother.
Patrick Ewing.
Love them, man. I was a big fan of John Thompson, man. Watching Patrick Ewing, like I love Georgetown for whatever reason, man. They was just a big, like I love that team. I was a big fan of them. Football wise, I'm a Gamecock, brother. I was a Gamecock from day one. So
Okay.
in my neighborhood where I live in Arthurtown, we could always go to the top of the hill and we could see the lights at the stadium. And see, I remember the stadium when it only had one side of an upper deck. The other side was all lower. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
people look at me like, what? I'm like, yeah, that's what it used to look like. And then I got to the point where I was old enough, not really old enough, but the people at the stadium thought I was. I went to the stadium and sold sodas and peanuts at the games, man, when I
Yep.
was like 10 years old.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And so I was watching the Gamecocks play at that age, but I'm in there carrying sodas, hustling, trying to make money for the family. And it was a lot of fun. And even then, I was like, I'm gonna play out there one day. So it was games where I didn't really sell a whole lot because I sit the crate down because I wanted to watch. You know what I mean? But then I was like, all right, Corey, you got hustle today now. Or at least hustle the first half and watch the second half, or hustle this quarter, take a quarter off. But man, yeah, college wise, I was a Gamecock, brother. I bleed garnet and black all day long.
All right. So you get into middle school, and I guess this is like maybe 11 through 13, 14 years old. What
Right.
position are you playing in football at that time?
Oh, quarterback, without a doubt.
Okay.
Quarterback, man. Yeah, I was a quarterback, and I played a little bit of safety defensively. My brother was the starting quarterback in high school at the time. So with him being a starting quarterback in high school, I was like, shit, I got to play quarterback for the middle school team. But back then, we didn't have a middle school team. We were the B team at the high school. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? So we would walk over to the high school, and it would be seventh and eighth graders, but we would be Dreer's B team. We wouldn't be Hand Middle School. We didn't have a middle school team. So
Yep.
things are a little bit different now. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I played quarterback, man. My older brother was a quarterback, so I was like, I gotta play quarterback too.
Yep. So talk about how did y'all do that season? Your first year playing quarterback. What was your most difficult task at the position?
Uh, the one I can remember, man, honestly, we played Richland Northeast.
Hmm.
And we played them behind Dreer on the grass field back there. And they were pretty damn good, man. And I think they wound up beating us by like a touchdown or something. You got to excuse it though because I really can't remember back that far. But that's a long time ago, brother. But it was a great game, man. It was a game where I realized like this is going to be competitive at this level and getting higher. So now I had to take my whole mindset from playing Pop Warner ball, being that guy, just running through everybody and saying, "Oh, I got some cats up here who can deal with me." So now what do I do? You know what I mean? And so that pushed me to be better.
That's
But
crazy.
that's the one game that actually stands out to me to say, know what, Corey, you got to tighten up, brother.
All right. So you get to high school, you go into summer workouts, eighth to ninth grade year. Um,
Hmm.
what coach or are you working out with? What player are you working out with the most? Is it a receiver? Is it your older brother? Or are you just
Um,
doing
well,
everything?
I mean, going into my freshman year at high school, my older brother had just got drafted by the Cincinnati Reds for baseball, and so he was gone. So I was just kind of on my own, like get to the school, get back home. And he had graduated. He had just graduated, so the quarterback spot was open, you know, and it wasn't really open. There was another kid there that thought he was going to be the starting quarterback. And no disrespect to him, but um, I don't want to be long winded with this, but it's a story behind of what motivated me to really, really push as a freshman.
Let's,
Um,
let's hear
so,
it.
so the area I lived in, of course, it wasn't a great area. You know what I mean? We had a lot of stuff going on. We wasn't no, middle class. Like it was a poor neighborhood, right? And in elementary school, I had a principal who didn't really like my neighborhood, and at the time I had to go to Rosewood because my mom pushed education so much. They only had the classes that I could take, right? Because at South Kilbourne, they didn't offer those higher level classes. So I couldn't go to school there. I could have, but it wouldn't have challenged me. So my mom, she wound up getting me to Rosewood Elementary every day, and it was the principal. He was a guy who, how I go. You know what I mean? He really didn't like looking at people like myself, And one day I did something, man, and I went into his office and he was like, people from your neighborhood, they never amount to anything. They never do anything. And I'm like, okay, cool, fine. To me, that was fuel on my fire. Right. And so going into my freshman year, um, just so happened his son was supposed to be the starting quarterback that year. And that was my fuel. And I worked out super hard. And I had some cats, man, who was there, a buddy of mine, God bless the dead, named Horace Mack, call him Junebug. Like Bug was a motivational factor for me. Frank Watson was a motivational factor for me. I had a buddy who was named Bobby Johnson and Kurt Higgins. We were all freshmen. We was like, nah, we playing varsity. Like we all came from Hand Middle School together. And it was like, let's go. This is what we gonna do. We gonna play. So we pushed each other, man. And I wound up, beating them out and getting a starting job. And, in high school, when games are over, the parents come on the field. You know what I mean? And that was that first game. I can't remember. I can't even remember the first game I played in high school, but I started my first year as a freshman on varsity. And I think we won that first game, and all the parents came on the field, and I saw him, man, and it was like, hmm. And I knew I wasn't done, but I didn't say anything. I just gave him a look and nodded at him, and went to hug my mom or whatever. You know what I mean? And that was that. So that was my motivational factor going into high school football.
That's what's up, man. So going into high school football, your freshman year, you win the starting job. Your brother gets drafted by the Cincinnati Reds.
Hmm.
What is the song that's in your locker room that year that get you ready?
Oh man, I don't even know, brother. I can't even tell you.
I'm
I
trying to
can't
figure out
even.
what the playlist
I
was back
can't,
then.
man. But we didn't have that, man.
You didn't have
You
the
know what
wall.
I mean? No, like, nah, man. We ain't have that, man. Nah, it was just I was quiet and locked in, man. Like,
Okay.
because now, all the kids got the beats or the AirPods in their ear and they got their music going.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, man, you ain't see that too often, man. We're talking about like 1990s now. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So it was like you got a Walkman, you playing a cassette player. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You got to hit the rewind button.
Yeah.
I ain't have all that, man. So I was like, let's just go play ball. I ain't care, man.
Word. I understand. So you go in after your freshman year,
Yeah,
you put up some numbers, you hold the job down for the next
right.
3 years. Talk about your toughest team in your conference that year. I mean, throughout your 4 years in high school.
Throughout my 4 years, I tell you, man, Keenan was always a battle for us. We always played them boys. They always played us tough, man. I think I split with them like 2-2. I think my first 2 years they beat me. My second 2 years I beat them. You know, who else? Richland Northeast was always good. Matter of fact, my offensive coordinator Trey Hurd, he was the starting quarterback for Richland Northeast my junior year, his senior year, and we beat them the first game of the season, and they wound up going to win the state championship that year, man. You know what I mean? So we won that game, and he got but I got the ring. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
Northeast, and we wound up playing them my senior year too, which was another tough game, and they beat us that year, the first game of the season. Swansea was always tough playing it. And back then we had Aiken and South Aiken. They were tough games.
Mhm.
And I mean, it was good to play all the area schools, man. You know, now we don't we play Keenan and AC Floor, and that's kind of by default, you know, because we put each other on our schedules, you know. But back in the day, all the area schools we played each other. You know, we played Keenan, we played Eau Claire, we played Columbia High, we played Johnson, we played Floor. You know what I mean? But now it's just, you know, if we can schedule y'all, we will. If we can't, then you know. So it's not really a whole lot of love in the area because we don't play each other.
You're right. It used to be always the inner city battles.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yep.
whether jamboree, the
Mhm.
start of the season, or whether you
Mm,
know they played on the schedule in the regular season. Uh,
exactly. Right.
you guys considered the top in the Big 16, or were you guys what region were you
No,
guys?
we was 3A. Dreer has been 3A forever, man. We have been a 3A school because we know AC Florida right behind us. You know what I mean? They literally like 2-3 minute drive behind us. So,
Mm,
you know, we won't really, I don't think we'll ever bump up. We should never bump up to be a 4A school.
okay, all right. So, do you guys make the playoffs?
Not last year. You know, this is my second year going into it.
You were in
So
school. When you were in school.
okay, so when I was in school, all right, my first 2 years we didn't make the playoffs.
Mhm.
My junior year we made the playoffs, and the first round of the playoffs we went down to Sherrall, and we wound up losing to them by 2 touchdowns, I think. But you know we fought. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And just push come to shove, they won the state championship that year. So we
Wow.
lost by 2 touchdowns to a state championship team. You know what I mean? Which was great for
Yep.
in my mindset. So
Yep.
um, that next year, my senior year, we made the playoffs and we played Sherrall in the first round. And we were up 21-0 at halftime. Going into the third quarter, we got the ball first. We were driving down the field. We ran like a little shovel play, and a guy came from the backside and tried to take me out because in that first half, man, I had 2 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown. So I was on fire,
Yeah.
you know. And when he went to slam me in the grass, I was playing with shin splints all year, so I
Mhm.
you know, I wasn't really 100% anyway. And when he went to slam me on the ground, my foot hit the ground and got caught up in the grass, and I broke my leg. And we wound up winning that game 21-14. You know what I mean? And then we wound up losing in the second round the next week, I think, to Lake City it was. But of
Wow.
course, I didn't play because I was in a cast.
Yes. Oh man, unfortunate. So, did you play in any All Star teams, North, South, or Shrine Bowl?
Well, I got selected to go play in the North South game,
Okay.
but my leg was broke, so I couldn't play in it. You know what I mean? That would have been fun for me. I was looking forward to that because I started watching that as a sophomore. Like,
Mhm.
oh man, these the best dudes in South Carolina. So like I need to be one of them guys. You know what I mean? And again, it was seeing the rankings. I was always ranked top 5 in football. In baseball, I was number 1 all the way up until like my senior year. Then they kind of moved me around a little bit to like 2 or 3. You know what I
What
mean? But
position you played in baseball? Boy?
oh man, I started playing varsity baseball in the 8th grade. My brother was a senior in high school at Dreer, and I was at Hand, and my coach was Brett Blackman. And Coach Blackman came, and he we had tryouts, and I was like, I'm trying out, and I wound up going to tryout. I made the team, and I started every game at center field as an 8th grader. And then my brother was playing shortstop. Then the next thing you know, he graduated. Then I moved up to shortstop. Then I went to third base. Then I went back to center field. But I always hit third or fourth, man, except for my eighth grade year. My eighth grade year, he made me mad, man. He put me like at 8 or 9, man. I ain't like that. Or he would DH for me. I really ain't like that.
But hey, if you play it right at 8, you can get you hitting the second cleanup.
Oh yeah, well, at that, man, I was 14. I wasn't thinking about that. I'm hitting 8, man. I'm
Right.
like down in the lineup.
But sometimes
So,
you get sleeping in the 8 order. You
oh
play.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think that's what he was doing. Now, when I look back at it, I'm like, Coach Black was a smart guy, man. So
Yeah, yeah. So playing baseball, you had a lot of looks coming out of high school, and fortunately, you landed a deal with the Red Sox in
right.
1995.
Yep.
I was going to ask you about your recruiting process. Let's talk about that, and then talk
Okay.
about having the MLB contract at 18 years old, right there.
Okay. Okay. Well, so the recruiting process started like when I was in the ninth grade. I started getting letters from a bunch of schools. Everybody on the East Coast, basically, even the powerhouse schools. Miami was recruiting me. Florida State was recruiting me. Notre Dame was recruiting me, and that's where Coach Holtz was. And so I was getting stuff from everywhere, and it was like pretty mind blowing to me. And going into my junior senior year, my senior year, I had like probably 5 or 6 milk crates, the old milk crates
Yep.
full of letters. I didn't throw nothing away. I was like, I'm keeping all these. You know what I'm saying? So it was it was a great time. Then having to take trips, me and my mom taking trips to these colleges, you know what I mean? Official visits. And it became like a lot of pressure, man, because I'm like, I don't know where I want to go to school. And my mom was like, it'll come to you, it'll come to, and the whole time in my head, I'm like, where am I going? Where am I going? And one morning I woke up, man, I said, what am I thinking about? I'm going to South Carolina. Like, it's a no-brainer. You know what I mean? But, when you got everywhere you go make you feel like you're the best thing since sliced bread, you know what I'm saying? It's like, where do I go? But my heart was always at home. My heart always bled Garnet and Black, man. And I always dreamed of playing on that field. And I said, you know what? That's where I'm going. You know what I'm saying? And my mom was like, you sure? I was like, I am 100% positive. So I signed my letter of intent, and I was going to play football and baseball at South Carolina. And I got a little nervous when I broke my leg because I thought they might have, not recruited me anymore. And, I thought my shots at getting drafted for baseball was gone because I knew that was out there. Um, but it didn't, man. They came in, they said, hey, we still gonna sign you. I had a chance to do my rehab at the University of South Carolina. I might get in trouble for that now, but who cares? That's like 30 years ago. Um, so I got to do my rehab and stuff there. And then baseball season rolls around, man. And my first game back, I didn't play basketball that year, obviously, because I was rehabbing, trying to get right for baseball. And my first game back for baseball, it was about, I don't know, about 25, 30 scouts there, man. And I tried to leg a ball out and I wasn't ready, and coach pulled me out. And when he pulled me out, man, they all left. I was like, oh shit, you gotta be kidding me, man. Right. So for 2 weeks, I went at it hard, man. Like I rehabbed hard. I was in the pool, I was in the sand, like I was rehabbing. And so after the 2 weeks, I guess they heard he was gonna be back in the lineup in 2 weeks. So I got back in the lineup. And my first game back, it was like another 25 or 30 scouts there. And I said, you know what? I'm a bunt this time, right? And just leg it out just to show him like, oh shit, he can run still.
Yeah.
And man, they threw it and I laid one down and took off, brother. And I seen them, and when I hit the bag, I see them all with their watches, man. And I just looked over at them and I said, threw my hands up like this. They was like shaking their head, like, oh yeah, he back. And the rest is history,
Time.
man.
That's that 60 time to first
Yeah,
base.
man.
You
Oh
know how
yeah.
to
Yep.
do it. Yeah. It worked
Oh
out
yeah.
Reds with Al Hayden back in '98. So
Mhm.
talk about you choosing that contract over going to the place where you actually did the peanuts, the halftime, the smell
Right.
of grass.
Well, I mean, it was tough, but it wasn't tough. It was my graduation day. And I was graduating from high school on the same day that the MLB that the draft was on. All right, and back then the Major League Baseball draft was not on TV in the slightest bit. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, nah, you ain't finna watch none of that at all. And so I wound up getting drafted in the first round. You know what I mean? And my family was ecstatic. My dad was happy. Me and my mom cried because we found out at graduation. She found out first, and I didn't find out until I walked out. Until I walked out of the. Well, actually, they kind of announced it. And I don't know what I was doing, but I walked out and I saw my mom and we hugged and we started crying, and it was just a relief, man. But I
Hey,
chose
Corey,
it. Yeah,
that was the best barbecue graduation you ever had in your life, ain't it?
man. You know what? I was tired, man. I like we didn't because that night I had my athletic banquet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it was like,
Yeah.
man, we went to graduation. Then I don't even know if we went out to eat at all because back then it was smoking, man. It was a hellfire outside. We came outside, it was hot.
Yeah.
So yeah, we was trying to get in. And when everything happened, man, we was just happy, and I was just kind of tired and exhausted. And my mom, she was very protective at that point in time. She was like, "Nah, we just gonna go home and relax," because everybody wanted to talk and take pictures and interviews. And she was like, "Listen, if you don't feel like doing it, you ain't gotta do it, okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, mom, okay." And she know I am. I just roll with the punches. You know what I mean? I don't worry about me. I worry about trying to satisfy everybody else. And that's just how I was raised. And she did wonders for me. She looked out for me big time. But um, when that contract showed up, man, it was kind of like I look around and I'm like, I can get my mama up out of here, brother. I can move my family up out of here. And honestly, like I love baseball too. It's not like I was playing a sport that I didn't care about. You know what I mean? So that made the choice pretty easy. I was able to do a lot of stuff for my family and for my mom that kids dream of doing. You know what I mean? And so that's why when that baseball contract came around, I wound up going up to Boston actually to sign my contract. And I felt like a first rounder, brother. Like I had on a suit with a tie and had on a baseball cap, and I was in Fenway. You know what I'm saying? I got to take BP with the big leaguers. You know what I'm saying? And it was Jose Canseco, Mo Vaughn, John Valentin. You know what I'm saying? Like them big dudes. And I was starstruck. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, holy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they was hitting balls so far, man. I was like, oh, I got some work to do, dog. I got a lot of work to do. But it was fun, man. And like again, like I said, that contract and being able to just take care of my family was kind of my deciding factor at the end.
Yeah. All right. So, you did your fourth season with Boston. You get traded to the White Sox.
Yep.
Talk about, that experience.
Well, I mean, I made some really, really good friends in Boston. Some of us still speak every once in a while now. And even if I saw any of them right now, it'll be like I just saw them yesterday. You know what I mean? Like we are brothers for life, man. And being traded was tough because now I'm going to a new team. I don't really know nobody. You know what I mean? They don't know me. All they know is, oh, it was one big league guy, which is stuff that didn't happen. Normally if you trade a big leaguer, you get like three or four minor league guys, or maybe even more. Well, this was a guy named was Chris Snopek. All right. The White Sox traded Chris Snopek over to the Red Sox for one minor league guy, which was me. And I was like, a big leaguer for a minor leaguer, that's a pretty crazy trade. But we were out on the field taking BP, and I was actually in Sarasota, Florida,
Uh-huh.
uh, which I met a lot of great people down there, and we had a great time. And the next thing you know, the skipper came to me and said, "Hey, Corey, you just got traded, man, to the White Sox. You leave tomorrow." What? And it took me by surprise because there was no warning. Like, hey, you're on the trading blocks. Like it wasn't, we think we're gonna trade. Like it was, you got traded, time to go. And the whole team was in shock because we were all like brothers. Again, we were all real close together, man. And I had to pack my bags. I didn't stay for the game. I went home and got my apartment and stuff straight, and I flew out of there the next day, and got to the White Sox, and it was a lot of fun. I wound up going to Birmingham, to the Barons where Michael Jordan was playing.
I was
But
about to say, did you
yeah,
play with him?
no, I got there the year after him.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
But
dang.
the best part about it is I did get to ride the bus. He let him keep the bus that he bought for him. You know what I'm saying? Because they travel by bus in the minor leagues. I don't know how they do it now, but back then it was on the bus, and then we don't care how long the ride is. If it's 5 hours, if it's 15 hours, you on the bus. So he bought him a bus that was really nice, and comfortable for them to travel in. So they wound up keeping the bus. So I was able to ride the bus. So that's my claim to fame with Michael Jordan. I rode his bus that he bought for the Barons.
That's what's up, man.
So,
So
but
you
yeah, that experience was good with the White Sox as well, man.
all right. So you leave there. What made you
Mhm.
go back to football?
Well, man, actually, it was some stuff going on here at home. I am always have been, probably always will be. I'm a pretty big mama's boy,
Okay.
right? And my mom was going through some stuff here at home with agents, and they wound up stealing $725,000 from us, and we lost everything, man. My mom lost the house. We lost both of our cars. You know what I'm saying? Like everything was gone. And it was to the point where, baseball is a mental game. It's more mental than physical. And mentally, I was just not fit to play at that time. So I asked the White Sox for a leave of absence, man. And I said, you know what? I got to go, guys. Like my mom's having some trouble at home. I got to get out of here. And I wound up going home, man. And I turned on the TV, and college football's on, and me and Quincy Carter are real good friends. And I see Quincy's the starting quarterback at Georgia.
Southwest DeKalb.
Yep, all day long, man. And I said, you know what? I'm going back to school to play football. So he was definitely my inspiration to go back to school and play ball.
Right.
Because I'm telling you, my first college game I watched, he was starting quarterback. And I said, yeah, I'm going back to school, hands down. Gotta go. And my mom was like, you sure? Because I got calls from teams, to come back and play, because the White Sox wound up releasing me, which I was fine with, but I had calls from several different major league teams to get back in the organization and start playing. And I was like, I just need a change, man. I just need to go do something different, and that's why I wound up coming back to school. And when I got back, Coach Holtz was here. And it just so happens I went up and talked to him, and he said, all right, I'm going to try to find out some stuff about you, to see. And he remembers recruiting me, obviously, from back when he was in high school, because he's a big South Carolina guy.
Yeah.
He got Tony Rice won a national championship with that dude. You know what I'm saying? So it was big. And I was like, okay. And he wound up getting in contact with me about 3 days later. I go up to the school. He says, all right, I got a full scholarship for you. And I'm like, cool. All right, I'm here. All right. So the first day I go to work out, I throw up at the end of the workout. You know what I'm saying? Because I've never lifted weights like that ever in my life. And my strength coach was Pat Moore. And P Moore was one of the best, meanest cats. And this I know, like I was in some trouble. We went through the workout. It was real fast, up tempo. And we bought it up at the end. We broke it down. And as soon as we broke it down, that's when I was like, I got to throw up. So I got over to the trash can as quick as I could, man, and threw up in the trash can. Well, P Moore walks over to me. It's like, hey, you all right? I was like, yeah, I'm good. And he made sure I stayed there. He took his head and put it in the trash can to smell my puke, to see if I was out drinking or something. You know what I mean? And when he came up, he was like, hey, you can't eat that milk and cereal before you come in here. I was like, man, this dude crazy. I was like, man, this cat crazy, man. He ain't finna kill me in here,
That's
man. But
weird, bro.
that's how I knew, man. Like, that's how I knew I was in for a good time. Like, I knew I met something that was gonna be very, very challenging to me. And I was all for it. But then again, got hit with another curveball. The standards changed. So when I graduated high school, I was eligible. I made 1160 on the SAT. My GPA was fine. I had 11 core courses. But then, the new standards was I needed 13 core courses.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, come
I done
on,
been on a
bro.
hot
Yeah,
about
man.
7, 8 years now.
Yeah. I'm like, come on, guys. So, man, that's when I was like, all right, Corey, you can't come to school right now. We got to figure out what junior college you're going to go to. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So that I took that kind of tough, man,
I
because
know.
that I was very disappointed. And so me and my mom, we took a trip up to Georgia Military, right? Because they put out good football players. They got a good JUCO program. But at the time, I'm like 22 years old now. So we get up there, and this is gonna be funny though, but um, the dorm rooms were cool, you know what I mean? But it was military, so I'm about to have a kid that's 18 years old telling me I gotta do push-ups. You know what I mean? And I don't have a problem with direction, but I'm just like, come on, dude, he fresh out of high school. Like, I'm a grown man and been out in the world, my bed's gotta be made straight. But the deciding factor, brother, they didn't have air conditioning in the dorms. I said, nope, can't go to school here. That's Georgia, man.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's hot, brother.
Hot.
I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna go to practice and turn around and come sleep in here in this hot room with a hot fan
And
blowing.
cramp up all night
Yeah, no, can't do it, man.
in your sleep.
And so, yeah, and so then that's when He was like, all right, if you don't want to go there, all right, we got a couple more choices. We can send you out to Garden City, Kansas. And I said, you know what? They got air conditioning in the dorms. He was like, yep. I was like, that's where I'm going. Let's go.
That was real easy.
Yeah. And so I never went out there. I never went to visit anything. Right. So my first day out there was my first official day on campus. Like, I've never seen the campus. I saw a little bit of the team because the football team was actually pretty good. So I was happy to go out there, and I was going out there to play safety. So I wasn't going to play quarterback. I was going to play safety. Well, the day that I got out there, they had a scrimmage game. Starting quarterback broke his collarbone, man. And so Coach Holt had already talked. My head coach name was Bob Larson.
Mhm.
And Coach Holtz had already talked to him. Coach Roberts, which kind of was my guy, he was one of the guys that talked to him too. He said, hey, listen, Corey can play anywhere you need him to play. Right. So when they came back, Coach Larson comes in, I meet him. He's like, it's nice for you to be here. He says, I know you came out here to play safety, but my starting quarterback broke his collarbone. Can you play quarterback? I was like, if it's going to get me on the field, I'll play it. And so the first day I went out there, they put me at quarterback and I was throwing the ball and they was like, oh, Jesus, like he can sling it, and then, I took off running a couple plays. It was like, oh yeah, we got something. And that's when I met some of my best friends to this day, man, on that team, cats from Florida, cats from all over the place, man. And we became like brothers again. Like, it's amazing how sports draw guys together from all over the world, well, not world, all over the country, I can say. But you got, guys from other countries that come and play here now. But at that time, you just had guys from all over the United States playing on one team, and all walks of life, didn't know each other from Adam, but became super close because of what we were doing. And I wound up playing quarterback for 2 years at Garden City, two-time JUCO All-American,
Yep.
first team All-American at quarterback, number one in the country, junior college in the country in football, national champion, so it was fun, man. I enjoyed it.
That's good, man. Went straight from the transition from the MLB, came back and played
Right.
football, won a national championship after breaking your leg your senior year in high school. You go to USC, you start 2 years there. Who was at the time, I think Georgia or LSU kept trading years of winning the
Right.
SEC championship, and I
Mhm.
think Florida was in the mix as well.
Right. Florida was definitely in the mix. So my junior year there, I was more so of a backup guy. My man, God bless him, Phil Petty was the starting quarterback there. Phil had been there for 4 years. He was going on year 5. He was a 5th-year senior guy, leader of the team, man, great dude. He welcomed me with open arms. And we had our conversation and it was a competition. You know what I mean? Like, I was coming in to try to play. Like, I was one of those guys. I've never sat on the sideline. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know how to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't know how to do that. and I will never get used to doing that, and I had to swallow my pride a little bit and just wait my turn, and I knew it would come at some point in time. And then they started throwing me in, during the games. I was a quarterback starting on special teams, man. I was like the personal protector on punt. You know what I mean? I was back there on kickoffs, blocking. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, what if Phil get hurt? And I'm out here doing special teams. I'm like, I ain't gonna hurt. I'm straight. Like, let's go. I'm on the field. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
I'm playing in my dream right now.
that's right. That's right. So I didn't even care about none of that, man. But playing behind field taught me a lot. You know what I mean? Watching him work, be a leader. You know what I'm saying? It's this one thing that happened. He was he was just a good dude, man. Just all the way around. Everybody respected him. And again, watching him helped me become a pretty decent QB for my last starting year at South Carolina.
Well, I got a clip right now. You did an interview with WOTX last, I want to say July when it happened.
Yeah, when it happened. Yeah.
Didn't know that he was ill. It was just out of the blue for me as well.
Right.
I
Right.
remember he was class of 97.
Mhm.
And at the time, him and my former quarterback, Woodrow Dantzler, were Shroud Bowl participants for South Carolina.
Right.
And I watched them play at the Bank of America Stadium against North Carolina Shriners. So we're gonna go into this clip. I don't own the rights to this video or the music. We're gonna go into it. This is Corey Jenkins, former Gamecock quarterback and former Miami Dolphin linebacker, speaking on his past teammate, Mr. Phil Petty. All right, rest in peace, Phil Petty, and to the family members who send our condolences and prayers. And we would like for you guys to continue to support Sports Shop 27 and other alumni players. All right, we'll be right back with it. Stay with us, Corey. Okay.
Yep, no doubt. Got you, brother.
All right.
He was a big, big inspiration to me. He was a big part of success at South Carolina, and he's a big part of the culture change. It just lets all of us know that we all have an expiration date at some point in time, but we just don't know when it is. And unfortunately, his came this morning, and that's just kind of hard to deal with because the guy's younger than me, and he has kids. He has a son that he absolutely loves to death, and I think about my son and what would he be doing right now if something happened to his dad. So this is one of those really hard life lessons you gotta do everything, man, now. Like, don't save it, don't wait. Like, whatever it is you need to do, go do, because I'm sure Phil didn't wake up yesterday morning thinking he was going to go to the hospital and not come out. I mean, and I think everybody who has freak accidents and things happen to them, nobody says, I'm going to die today. But again, we're not promised tomorrow, so we got to live for the day and just make the most of it.
Great Collegiate Academy head coach Adam Holmes, who again hired Petty to be his co-offensive coordinator, gave us a statement. He says, quote, "He was our leader when we played, and he was my best friend. He loved being a Gamecock. He's one of the best to ever do it in my eyes. I saw it up close and personal. He was so looking forward to get back into coaching. That's all he would talk about. Most important, he was a great husband, dad, and friend. Our hearts are breaking right now. Gamecock Nation has lost a legend today." Just two of the emotional tributes for the late Phil Petty.
Oh yeah.
Back. Yeah, so that was a very emotional statement. I could tell
Man,
a lot of brothers.
I didn't even know they showed that much on the TV.
I thought they did edits, right?
Yeah. So,
Nah.
but no, that's just, man. I think about stuff like that a lot, man. Like I got three beautiful children, man, and I got two boys. My daughter, she's my twin, but I got a 5-year-old named Kenzo. My daughter's named Natalia. My oldest son is Josiah. And I just think, like, man, what would my kids do if I ain't around? You know what I mean? And it's just, that's tough, brother. That's tough again. And so I just try to make the most of it, man, each day. And Phil was something that kind of opened my eyes to it.
Well, that's part of the reason why we have the Sports Shop 27 You can leave all your kind words for, for your family, your friends, encouraging people,
Oh yeah.
inspiring, motivating people, and also just giving flowers to your other teammates and coaches and people who help you along the journey. Now, I
Right.
got one clip, man, that's famous, man. I'm sorry, I just had to
Nah,
get it.
man.
You
Already know
already
what
know,
it is, man. Already know. I know, man. You go ahead, play it, brother.
or you're a solid guy, man. I like you a lot, man. But David Pollock, man, he just got
Yeah, man. I
played.
knew that name was coming, man. I knew it. Go. It's man, the guy got a motive, man. And that's one of them plays. Guess what? You ain't seen a play like that since,
Never.
right? Yeah,
Why I
because
gotta show it.
not saying it was an accident, you know what I mean? But it was dog, that's one of the greatest college plays ever. It just so happened I was on the bad end of it. But I mean, again, man, it's shit
Did you?
happens, man.
So when you did like that, did you knew the ball? You knew for sure the ball hit the ground.
Well, I mean, in any other situation, when a quarterback goes to throw a ball, right? And a guy bats a ball, what does it do? It flies back, right?
Yes.
Man, he went to bat the ball and the ball rolls down my back and he catches it on the way down to the ground. I mean, that's
All in one motion.
all
Unplanned.
in one motion. Yeah, that's an athletic play, brother. Like I gotta give my man credit for that. You know what I'm
Right. You had,
saying? It is what it is, man. Wasn't nothing I can do about it. Like I was actually going to try to throw that shit away. You know what I'm saying? But he wound up making a play, man, and it sucks because it was the only touchdown they scored that game.
yep.
Like our defense was lights out. You know
Yep.
what I mean? And I felt 100% responsible for that loss. 100% responsible for it.
I saw it on your face, man. But you nothing you could do about it. Nobody.
No, no.
Let's go ahead and check it out real quick for
Go
everybody
ahead, man.
watching.
Play it,
Make
man.
sure
Play it.
y'all
I'm gonna
subscribe
hang
to
up.
the
I'm
channel.
gonna hang up.
Don't do me like that, Corey. Please. I'm sorry, man. But like
Nah, you good, brother.
that's one of the plays you rewind over and over to see
You,
how it
you
happened.
do, man. You do, and you will see like it right toward the end. I look at the official like, what happened? Because I didn't know he caught the ball. I thought the ball had flew back to the back of the end zone. He was like, he caught it. You'll see me just say, all right, turn around and run off the field.
All right, stay with us, Corey,
All
please.
right, play it,
Right back.
man. Play it. Go ahead, play it, man.
Man, let me tell you, I had no idea how much playing time I was going to get that game. I didn't know what was going to happen.
Looking at 2nd down and 8 right now from the 6-yard line. Here's the sprint right. Jenkins pulls up. He's in trouble. And it's intercepted. My goodness.
David Pollock stole the ball.
Yes, it was picked off. It wasn't even thrown. Pollock.
Corey Jenkins looked around because he had no idea where the football went. I think David Pollock just grabbed the ball in the end zone for a touchdown.
Amazing.
David Pollock is the buck end. Here he is right here. Watch him rush the quarterback. It's a little sprint to his side. Corey Jenkins is going to start to throw, and Pollock hits it with one hand and catches it on the way down. What an athletic play by David Pollock.
Extra point from Bennett is up and good. My, oh my.
The amazing thing is that he beat 2 blockers, Watt Sanderson and Docus Turman, both there, and David Pollock wins the battle.
They do. Here is David Pollock. Extraordinary play in the end zone.
Really was.
And it will go as an interception, not a fumble. It was ruled that the ball was actually going forward. And what an athletic play.
Yeah, and he is an athletic guy. Remember, he was recruited here as a fullback. He was a highly touted fullback out of high school, Shiloh High School in Snellville. Well, first of all, he whips the block of Watt Sanderson. Now, at this point, he's only thinking deflection, just trying to knock the pass down. But on the way down, he says, wait a minute, I can catch this ball. He catches it with the same left hand. And as you said, Vern, just a tremendously athletic play by David Pollock. Knocks it down, keeps it alive, and catches it before it hits the ground, all with one hand.
And how about that Pollock interception?
Oh man.
You could not make this up, man.
Dude,
Like it'll never happen again.
no, not that play, man. Nah. I mean, but again, as you can tell, man, I went to throw that thing, man, and I don't know, brother. Like that's a deflection to me. You know what I mean? Like that ball's supposed to bounce like out the back of the end zone or to the ground.
Yeah.
But the way he deflected it, man, and maybe it's because I was maybe a little bit too strong and I was throwing and the ball didn't come out my hand the right way. And I held on to it too long and it might have rolled out. You know what I'm saying?
You know, you do all that with the baseball workout.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. But no, it was all honesty, man, it was just a hell of a play, brother.
Yeah.
Like I should have, I look at it and say, maybe I should have tried to get rid of it sooner. You know what I'm saying? And it was a sprint out play to where I'm supposed to get outside. That way I got the run pass option. But with him getting outside and keeping contained, I had to pull up, and it just so happened, again, man, it's hell of a play, man. Hell of a play.
So you played Clemson that year. You get to play them twice. How many times did you beat them?
I played them twice. We beat them my junior year and lost to them my senior year. My junior year, I came in at quarterback and played a little bit and wound up scoring the go-ahead touchdown that game. And then my senior year, that was my one game that I played linebacker. Coach Holtz called me upstairs the week before the game and said, "Hey, you're not playing quarterback this game. You're going to play linebacker." And I looked at him like, "What?" Like, "Yeah, you're going to start at outside linebacker." I said, "All right, cool, whatever. I'm on the field. Let's go play."
Well, we're gonna go ahead and talk like that. You said that too casual, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, again, man, I'm not a selfish guy, man, when it comes to doing certain stuff. You know what I'm saying? And playing ball is one of them. Anything I can do to help my team win any position that they need me to play, I'm going to play it. Because if I'm on the field, that means I got a chance to contribute to us winning football games.
Right. All right. I do not own the rights to this video or the music. Let's go ahead and get that out the way. This is South Carolina versus Clemson. I think this is your junior year, and with the go-ahead touchdown. All right. Let's go ahead and check out real quick.
Man, let me tell you, I had no idea how much playing time I was going to get that game. I didn't know what was going to happen. I was like, but I got to play against these guys because I've been waiting to play against them for so long. And, this is a big-time rival game, and I just feel like, you know what, I need to be a part of this. And in that game also, it got down to crunch time, and we needed to score, and we got down to the goal line, and Coach said, "All right, Corey, let's go," and inserted me into the game, and the next thing you know, I had a game-winning touchdown run. And so for me, it was like one of the best feelings that I've had in college football, to be a part of such a big win and victory against a team that's a big-time rival. And I've come to learn that the fans take the game a lot more serious than the players do. So, but it was a joy to be a part of that.
All right, we're back.
Yeah, man.
That was your junior year. I guess your senior year. Y'all went to Clemson. You lost.
Right.
Talk about the combine. Did you work out at linebacker and quarterback?
All right, so I didn't go to Indianapolis, man. Unfortunately, yeah, they didn't invite me. You know what I mean? So my pro day came at school.
Yeah.
And I worked out strictly at safety and linebacker. Like I didn't do no quarterback drills. I did some slot stuff, I think, if I can remember, like some individual workouts I had. But for the most part, man, when they came and all the guys were there, I did, linebacker drills, man, and safety drills. So I didn't care where I played again. I was like, if they can get me in the league and help pay bills, you know what I mean, get me on the field, I don't care where it was. I just want to go play. Like I was not looking at my career to be over with from playing sports at that time when I was graduating college, finishing up college. I was like, nah, I ain't gonna let this happen. Like I'm going to play somewhere. Somebody gonna take a shot, and then I'm gonna go prove myself. And it happened.
And cards is always in your favor, man.
Man. Yes.
Talk about your faith that you have in everything that you put your mind to. Some people are religious, some people are spiritual. Which one are you? You consider yourself?
Man, I just got a strong faith, man. You know what I mean? Like I grew up in the church. I still go to the same church that I've been going to my entire life,
That's
like
great.
in Town. You know what I'm saying? And that's the church I grew up in. I'm not like a real big, you know, I would say, now I don't want to say Bible thumper because some people may take offense to that, but I'm not a guy that can say, you know what, I'm gonna quote you this scripture or quote you that
Oh,
scripture, right? But I am a guy who believes like there's a higher power. You know what I mean? And I don't care what religion it is, they all answer to one person, and that's God Himself. You know, so you can pray to whoever you want. And then again, I don't like to talk religion, but I believe in God. And I got a strong faith that things happen for a reason, you know, and my faith just allowed me to keep going, man. You know, because it's several times throughout my life I could have shut it down and took the wrong turn and said, you know what, I ain't doing nothing but the
mm,
other side of the street. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? And I decided not to because I said, you know what, I know He got plans for me. You know, I know He got things He need for me to do. You know, He's got people for me to touch. He got lives for me to create. You know, and I'm gonna just keep going, and I just got to fight through it. You know, and I think I learned that when my baseball career was kind of over. And when I came home to find out that those guys had stole all that money from me, you know, I'll be the first to say I went on a spree looking for them for 3 days. You know, for 3 days I searched for them, and if I would have found them, I can tell you now, I'd probably be locked up still to this day. You know, because they stole. Now I wouldn't worry about them stealing from me. Like you stole from my mother, right? You
yeah,
you put my mother out of her house. You made her cry. You broke her down. Like
yeah,
all those years, 18 years, I watched her struggle.
yeah,
You know, and I watched her work hard, and then just like that, the drop of a dime, a guy, these guys take everything away from us. You know, something we work 18 years to get. Well, I'm supposed to, you know, it's supposed to go down like that.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Understand?
And for 3 days, I looked for them and couldn't find them. You know what I mean? I went to their house. I was staking outside the strip clubs, the house, the office. I was looking everywhere. Couldn't find them. You know, and after that third day, I was like, all right, God, you trying to tell me that's a strikeout. That's 3 strikes. You out, Corey. All right, go home, regroup, get yourself together, and let's move forward. You know, and I did. And I said, you know what, whatever you need, whatever's in your plans for me to do, you put on my heart for me to do, let's go do it. And
That's
it's like,
great answer, man. That was a great answer for real.
oh, yeah,
Life lessons and stories put you ahead of the curve with some of life's downfalls.
oh,
Coming
yeah,
straight out of high school, getting a major league contract. Trusting the agent to lead you in the right direction and take
right,
advantage. That was all the lesson you had needed to learn right there.
right, man. Yeah.
In adulthood, I mean, $725,000 is gone.
Well, listen,
To no office, no nothing. Everything's gone. It's just big scam. So
right,
I
right.
understand that, and it happens, and it's common for a lot of players, and people don't know that. So just talk about playing with the Dolphins. You play under Dave Wannstedt, correct?
Correct. Yep. So I was there my first year, man. When I got drafted, in the 6th round.
Mm,
Draft day was crazy. I watched the entire draft until my name got called. I was like, God, I know you're gonna let my name get called, you know. And my name got called, and the next thing you know, man, I was a Dolphin. Got the call from Ronstadt, and when I got down there, I didn't really know who was on the team. Well, it just so happened my man Arturo Freeman was on the team.
there you
You know,
go.
that's a Gamecock. You know what I mean? Ray Green was, I think Ray was down there at the time too. You
Hmm.
know, and it was like, okay, yeah, I got a couple Gamecocks. But
Yeah,
dude, I was the second linebacker drafted that year for them.
yeah.
Their first pick that year was in the 2nd round. They didn't have a 1st round pick. Their first pick was Eddie Moore out of Tennessee, linebacker. You
Hmm.
know, and when they called me, they said, all right, Corey, we're gonna bring you in as a linebacker. And I'm like, oh shit. All right, let's go. You know,
Yes.
but I'm thinking to myself, like, man, how the fuck I'm gonna make this team, man? So I get down there, you got Zach Thomas, you got Junior Seau, you got Marlon Greenwood, you got Tommy Hendricks. I mean, you got cats, man, that's just flat out can play. And I'm like, and they got a 1st round pick in a linebacker. You only keep 4 or 5, you know what I mean? Maybe 6. And I'm like, oh boy, what I'm gonna do? And that's when Arturo got in my head, man. He said, "Hey, get on them special teams, dog." He said, "If you play special teams, you can make it." And I was a little bit hard headed, and I was like, "I got you," because I'm thinking like, "Nah, I'm gonna make this team as a backer, bro." I'm gonna make this team as a linebacker. So I got into this mindset, and I was always tough, to the point to where at South Carolina playing quarterback, I didn't run out of bounds. Like either you gonna get me or I'm gonna get you, right? I ain't sliding, I ain't run out of bounds. I'm gonna try to
It was
boom.
always like that. Man. I
Yeah,
ain't gonna lie.
you know what I'm saying? Like that's just who I am.
Yep.
And I just went into a mindset, brother. I didn't care about this. Like, didn't care about it. Like I said, I'm gonna lay my body on the line every single play because I gotta make this team. And I wound up making the team. And at the end of preseason, I was the leading tackler. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, boy, you done did something, boy. And so the one thing I remember more than anything else, man, my rookie year, before the actual roster came out, I was on the elevator. And I was going upstairs for some reason. I think I was going to meet with Coach Armstrong, which was my special team coach, best special team coach I've ever played for, ever. Coach Ronstadt was on the elevator. He's like, "Hey, Corey, how you doing?" Coach Ronstadt's about 6'5", tall dude. I was like, "I'm good, Coach." And he says, "You find a place to stay yet?" And I said, no. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I ain't finna find a place to stay, and then y'all tell me I don't make the team. Now I gotta renege on the lease and everything else. He was like, "All right, yeah, make sure you find somewhere nice." And that kind of, I guess he was throwing me a hint, like, you making the team, don't worry about it. And I'm like, nah, I don't trust that, brother. I'm gonna wait till that 53 man comes out. But I wound up making the team, man, and it was just from there, it was just balls to the wall, brother.
There you go.
Let's go. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So you spend the 03-04 season there.
Yep.
Then you leave and you go to Chicago.
Yep.
For a stint. After Chicago, I think you played preseason with the Panthers, correct?
Well, so I was there when Nick Saban came.
Okay.
All right. So I played under Saban, and Coach Muschamp was his actual linebacker coach.
What?
Yeah, man. So I had to that's when I first met him. And Champ was he was rough, boy. But Saban was tough too. I was like, man, Nick Saban, come on, dude. What? Like, they came with that college mentality, screaming, yelling, fussing, cussing. Dude, it's grown men out there, man.
Exactly.
You can't talk to them like that. Nah. And so it was plenty of situations where you had some stuff go down, man, and it was like, uh-oh, you better watch yourself, and he saw it too, you know what I'm saying? So it was but it was cool, man, going to Chicago, playing with Urlacher, playing with Lance Briggs, playing with what's my man name? My DB kid, Peanut.
Peanut Tiller.
Right. Yeah, man. Like playing with them guys was fun, man. You know what I'm saying? It was fun to play with them dudes, man. And being in the big city of Chicago was just a good time. So that NFL life is great, man. But it's hard to get there, but it's even harder to stay, brother.
I understand. Not for long. I understand.
Yep, that's right. Yep.
So you left and went to Winnipeg, played there for a season.
Yep.
Win the World Cup there. Did you win the
No,
championship?
man. We actually we played, but we lost in the Grey Cup.
Mm-hmm.
We lost in the Grey Cup when I was there my first year. I finished second at Rookie of the Year. The guy who won Rookie of the Year wound up going to Miami the next year, Cameron Wake. He wound up going to Miami. Man, he had like 50 sacks or something stupid like that. You know what I'm saying? But then the next year I wound up playing in Montreal for a brief stint. And then I said, you know what? It's time to go start life, man. And that's when I wound up coming on back home and coaching Pop Warner ball, working in the office, and just getting life going.
Yeah. So you going into what season is this at Dreer as head coach?
This is my second year now at Dreer as the head coach.
Head coach / assistant AD, correct?
Correct. So Coach Jarvis is my AD. Daryl Jarvis. He's my AD. He had me doing a little bit of everything. Like tonight, I was working a volleyball game and a JV football game. He had to go with his wife to watch their daughter do some stuff athletically, and we're a family group, man. So, I cover him some days. He covered me some days. And we also got Coach Caldwell. He's the head basketball coach. He's also an assistant AD. So Coach Caldwell covers us too. We cover him. So we a big family around there too, man. I'm just glad to be back home, back at the high school, trying to make a difference in them kids, man.
A lot of people don't know that you coached at South Carolina State for a little while too.
Yeah, man. So when I first got back into the coaching deal, I was actually the first coach over at Gray Collegiate, but back in the day it was called Gray Military Academy.
So Brian Newsom, he was my baseball coach.
Bingo. That's right. B. Noose. That's right. So we wound up coaching there for 2 years, and after that, I can't remember. I think I don't know where I coached the following year, and I was into the personal training stuff too. I wound up becoming a general manager over Gold's Gym before they returned to Move Fitness. And then I got a call from Muschamp when he got here. Just so happened my sister works at the high school as well, and he was going by all the local high schools, and my sister was in the front office, and she was like, "Hey, my brother played for you," and he called me, and I was working out. He said, "Hey, Corey, how you doing?" I had no idea who it was. I was like, "I'm good." He said, "Oh, it's Will Muschamp, man." I said, "Oh, coach, man, congratulations. Glad you're here, man. I know you're gonna make a difference." He said, "Hey, come by and see me. Let's sit down and talk a little bit." So I went and saw him, man, and he wound up giving me the job there as an assistant strength coach. And he asked me what I wanted to do, and I told him, I said, "I want to coach." He said, "Well, this is what most colleges are going to now. In the off season, summer months, the top 10, which are all the position coaches, they're not allowed to do anything with the guys, right? They can't go on the field, they can't run plays with them. But strength coach, we can do everything with them." Right. So they had us basically in charge of running defense, running offense. And I was a defensive guy. So, I was with the defensive guys, D-line, linebackers, and just training them guys, but doing stuff with them on the field, drills, running through plays, stuff like that. And it was fun. So I really started to feel that coaching. And after my second year at South Carolina, Coach Pugh, I got in contact with Coach Pugh. I wound up leaving South Carolina for a couple of different reasons. And Coach Pugh got in contact with me, and I wound up going to be the running backs, tight ends coach at South Carolina State. And that was a blast, man. Love that HBCU life, brother. Love it. It was a great experience, but a crazy experience too. But I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? And it was fun being in Orangeburg. It was fun traveling. And the a story with that is me and my man Woodrow Dantzler, I was starting I didn't start at quarterback my junior year, but I played that game. But he was the starting quarterback for Clemson, and so going into our senior year, they had this magazine with me and him on the front, and it was like a movie title in the back. Had his name on one side, my name on the other side. Had us in tuxedos holding footballs, and I showed it to him, man, and he bugged out. He was like, "Boy, I can't even believe you." He's like, "Man, you got to send me that." So I wound up sending it to him, and he's doing great things down there at FameU. You know what I mean? So big shouts out to him, man. Much love to him and his success. And then I got done there. I went over to the private school, back to high school for a little bit, to a private school, Cardinal Newman. I met a great guy and a guy named Doug Dutton. All right, Dutton is a mastermind, like super great human, man. And he was able to bring me in and help me coach with him. And now we're the best of friends, and I wound up getting the job at Dreer last year. And I brought him over with me, and he came over with me, and him and Coach Hurd and Coach Harrison. I got a great coaching staff over there. And it was just great to be back at my high school. My mom graduated from there. My sister graduated from there. My cousins graduated. My brother, that's a family high school. Yeah, so it's huge for me to come back and be the head coach. And not only that, be the first Black head coach in school history at Drew High School for the football team. So that was big for me too. So it's been nothing but a pleasure though, man. We got our goods and bads, but things are turning for the better. So we just got to keep going in the right direction.
All right. What is your message to the youth?
Hey, man, listen, Them streets ain't going nowhere, man. All right, life go by way too fast, guys. You know what I'm saying? Just get out them streets, man. Hit them books. Try to find a trade. Like, do something positive in your life, man. Because the only thing in them streets is death and prison. That's it. Don't care about being cool and being that end guy. You know what I'm saying? Just be yourself. Don't let nobody influence you to do nothing crazy, man. You know what I mean? We all know right from wrong. Don't be the guy that fit in and just, okay, I'm gonna do this just because they doing it. Nah, man, be you. It's cool to be you. It's cool to be the good guy. It ain't always cool to be that guy walking around with your pants sagging, hat to however you want to wear your hat, wanting to smoke vape pens and all that. Like, man, I've learned so much working in these high schools. It's crazy, man. It's crazy, brother. Yeah, it's totally different now than when we was in school. Totally different.
New ways of doing things.
Total new way of doing
new way.
That's right, man. Without a doubt.
So any shout outs for before we head out, like anybody you want to thank along your journey?
Oh man, I mean, more importantly, man, I want to thank. I don't like throwing names because I don't like to forget nobody. It'd be like, oh, how you forgot me, man? But everybody who was a part of it, man. You know what I mean? Everybody who was a part of me. And to be completely honest, man, I always love to get a shout out to 48, man. Like, that's me, Bluff Road, brother, like all day long, off the town. That's me. I bleed that just like I bleed Garden and Black. You know what I mean? And of course, my mom, like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. Of course, God, thank you for all the blessings and the light that you shined on me. And, it's funny, man. I love to tell my story. You know what I mean? And I don't like to brag and boast about the stuff I've done, the success I've had in life. And I think my biggest success right now is just being a great father, man. Like, like I see these kids now, and some of these kids don't have a pot to piss in or window to throw it out of, and that's hard. And, I see my kids, and again, my 12-year-old, he's going to be a pretty good football player. My daughter don't do anything. My 5-year-old ain't no telling with him, man, because he just loves ball. Like, and he played up this year. He reminds me of me a little bit, because when I was 5 years old, I played baseball with the 6 and 7s.
With your brother.
This year, yeah. So this year he was at 5 years old, he played flag football with the 6 and 7s. And at first he was just a little nervous, and then he got into it and he started holding his own. And I'm like, yeah, he gonna be all right.
It's like you your dad and he and your son, older son is your brother.
Right, man. But my oldest son got game, man. He just gets a little nervous. You know what I mean? He's kind of quiet and reserved a little bit, but once he gets it going, like, he got game, man. And I don't like to brag and boast because people like, oh, I'm being biased because of my kids. Guess what? I might be, because that is my son. You know what I mean? But guess what? His last name's Jenkins, right? So he got something in him that y'all don't know.
He got a ball of genes in him.
That's right. Exactly. So
I'll say it for you, Corey.
Yeah, man. So, I just look forward. And that's another reason why I love coaching high school ball, because I get to attend everything they do. In college is great. You know what I mean? And if you're one of them 10 guys that's making $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, you got to sacrifice something, But if you ain't one of them guys, man, this is the time where my boys need me, especially my oldest son. He's 12. This is when daddy's got to be around. So, look at him. He's over here now. Why you ain't in bed anyway?
Are you talking to Pokey Reese?
Listen, man. Listen, that's family right there. Like, he off the town product, man. Like, he grew up in off the town on the dirt road with me. You know what I mean? He's older than me, but yeah, man. Me and we're cousins basically.
I need to get him on the show, man.
Man, listen, I will get in contact with him. I got his number, man. I'll call him and tell him to get on the show, man. He'll be more than happy to do it, brother. Because he got some stories too about Arthur Town, man. Like, Arthur Town, I'm telling you, we put out some stuff in Arthur Town, brother.
Yeah, y'all like a couple years ahead of me, but I followed your whole career because
man.
I mean, you watch the high school sports reports. Y'all name was in there and stuff. So
right. That's right.
Just follow it along.
Yep.
So.
Oh yeah.
But I appreciate you coming on the show, man. I ain't want to cut you off.
Listen, brother, not listen, man. Anytime, man. My pleasure. Thank you for having me, man. Jay,
You
for
know
real,
it.
man, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me, man. I got home in time, took a shower, shaved my head. I said, I'm gonna get on here. We're gonna have some fun, man.
And we did too, man. You more than welcome to come back anytime. Now that you've been on the show, would you recommend any other player that you played with, college or NFL, MLB, to come on?
Man, listen, like I said, I think Poe could be a good one, man. I love for my brother to do stuff like this too, because he like to talk. He's still been doing baseball stuff for 13 years now. No, my bad. He played for 13 years. He's been doing baseball stuff since he stopped playing baseball.
Wow.
Man, any of them guys, man, any names you like, I can name a bunch of folks, man, like to come on. A good friend of mine, Nashawn Goddard. Nashawn's still coaching at South Carolina State right now.
Okay.
Right, he's the O-line coach down there. You got Cedric Williams. He's the O-line coach at North Carolina Central. He was one of the OLs with us too back in college.
Oh yeah, he came on the show.
Said's been on the show.
Yep.
Okay, well, good. Yeah, that's my dude too, man. So, but yeah, man, any of them guys, man, are good dudes to put on there, man. Any of them.
Appreciate it. Yeah, man. We appreciate you coming on the show, man. Good
Oh
luck
yeah, no doubt, man. I
rest of this
appreciate you guys.
season.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Big pillar in the community, man. Sports legend in South Carolina. For everybody that's watching, we appreciate you tuning in to a new edition of the Sports Shop 27. I'm your host, Jermaine Coulter. I'd like to thank my special guest, former Gamecock quarterback and Miami Dolphin and Chicago Bear linebacker, Mr. Corey Jenkins, now Dreher High School head football coach. All right. For everybody that's watching, you already know our slogan. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. Make
No
sure
doubt.
you be safe, and we'll see you next time. All right.
Jay, appreciate you, man. Thank you, brother. All right, much love, man.
You have a good night.
All right, you too.
All right. Peace.
Peace.